Ron from iFanboy, and I'm here with Sina Grace. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Good, very
Excellent.
good. So many people might know you as the editor of Walking Dead and Invincible and stuff like that.
And Super Dinosaur.
And Super Dinosaur, right? But you were also a comic artist on Little Depressed Boy.
Yes, I'm one and the same.
So Little Depressed Boy has become one of my favorite books as it's getting a regular schedule at Image. How did you come on the project? Because I know it existed before. It's how it existed now.
Yeah. It was a webcomic, and before that, it was just doodles in a sketchbook from the creator Struble.
Yeah.
But he was coloring covers for me back when I was self-publishing, and then when we were getting towards a longer form storyline with Jazz, one of the female characters, he asked if I would draw it, and I said yes, and then Image found us, and it's been happily ever after since.
Yeah. So how's the reception been? Because it fills a different kind of genre that I feel is underplayed in comics.
It's been good. You know, we're not overnight successes like Morning Glories or Chew, but the people who like us really like us, and there's a Slater Kinney song lyric, this music gig doesn't pay that well, but the fans are all right. And that's kind of how I feel. Like, it's like, okay, like, no, I'm not getting super rich, but everyone is just like incredibly supportive, and I am making, you know, my laundry and coffee money off this book, so okay, I'll stick around.
Very cool. So yeah, so the comic itself follows, now is he a rag doll? Like, it's kind of unique in what Little Depressed Boy is.
I call him a ragdoll boy.
Okay.
I call him a ragdoll boy. We'll leave it like that. And everyone asks if it's real, if it's his self-perception, or, you know, if we're just suspension of disbelief, this is how he looks, and I'm not answering. I think it's up to your interpretation.
That's fair.
Yeah, but it's about his non-adventures in, you know, love, life, and it's just him trying to grow and become a better person.
Right. And one of the reasons why I like it is because it's a combination of relationships and music. How important of a role does music play? Like, are you listening to music as you're drawing? Does it seep into the work, or?
Yeah, actually, very much so. I've always got the headphones in when I'm drawing, and I know Struble always has his headphones in.
Yeah.
And I think what's amazing is that, you know, it influences us in different ways, and we're both listening to different bands, and it is seeping into the artwork in very funny little ways. And what's even better is that like, some of the original art even just has, when I'm frustrated, like, I'll just literally like scribble in song lyrics on the sides of the pages, like in the trim. So yeah, it is a motivator, music, and it's a big part of the book.
Cool. So how does the working with Struble, how does that work in terms of laying out the story? Is he coming to you saying, this is a story, now just draw it? Are you guys collaborating, or?
He's the shipmaster or the captain or what have you. There's some instant messaging. We have an editor, Nicholas Branton. They do a lot of the talking about the story thing, and then he sends me the script. And only if I violently am opposed to something, I will say no. But even then, he'll validate it. Like, there was in issue 8, there was a huge conversation between two characters, and I was opposed to how it went. I was like, what? That's, and then he was like, but that's life.
Yeah.
And so, like, I sat with it and said, okay, fine, you win. So
you probably had the similar reaction I had at the end of the first trade when we find out that she has a boyfriend. I was like, no!
Well, way to ruin it for these guys. Come on. It's the first trade. There's plenty more after that. You know, I knew about that. What was funny was we got in a huge argument about how she would reveal she was dating someone.
Yeah.
And again, he won, because I kind of was like, okay, fine, that is more impactful than my version where aliens come down and they fight, and it's a really cool page that will sell for a lot of money. No, I'm kidding. I don't do that. Anyway, I do that.
Cool. So just the second trade just recently came out, right?
Yes, and just a few weeks ago.
And so how far out are you guys planning for? Is this going to be continuing ongoing, or is there a set end to this kind of arc of Little Depressed Boy?
Ongoing. There's an end down the line, and we've got basically 2 to 3 story arcs legitimately mapped out, and then sort of a broad stroke arc for the character at that point. But you never know. I mean, we're doing okay, and if we get canceled, we'll be sad, but we'll figure out a way. So we'll figure out a way to give you guys an ending, but don't let that happen. Don't let that happen.
Well, one thing that's worth looking for is that you've been recently getting a lot of great guest artists to do covers. The McKelvey cover. I was like, woo, And
we're doing another round of that. We did that for the second story arc, and then I came back, and then we're doing it again. And I'll tell you, this is my gift to you. One of our next cover artists is going to be China Clugston.
Oh, excellent.
Blue Monday, yeah. I showed you the art, right?
Did, yeah.
I showed you the art. And then we just had Corey Walker, the Invincible co-creator, and I might as well say this too, Ryan Otley.
Wow, awesome, very cool. I love the different kind of artists taking on like a, like a slice of life book and see that kind of different approach. Like a superhero artist like Otley. Or, I mean, golly, I really want all of the Image founders to do it. And Valentino has. He drew a page in the blue volume. Yeah. But it'd be so great if Liefeld.
Wouldn't that be nice? You guys should all just start commissioning them and sending us the scans.
Yeah, exactly.
I could get behind that and make me feel like we really belong with Image Comics.
Yeah. Here's Steve Seagle. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing good, Ron. How are you?
Good to see you.
Nice to see you.
So you've got a bunch of new projects coming out.
I have got a decade's worth of books coming out in 1 year that I've been working on for a decade.
Right. So you wait till they're done before they get solicited, right?
I love my fellow Man of Action guys, but I'm the guy who finishes first and then puts it out.
Excellent. So you're telling me about this really interesting project. It's a translation project.
It is a weird translation project. Yep. I have props. Yep. It's called The Red Diary. Teddy Christensen, who I worked with on It's a Bird, yep, put out this volume in France and Denmark. Yep. And I said, that's such a cool book, I'd like to put it out in America. But then I thought, well, what would I do on it? It's already done. Right. And he said, why don't you translate it? And I thought, that's a great idea, except that
in French and Denmark. So what language is it in?
Well, I don't speak French or Danish, and so I was like, this plan fell apart. But what I did was I just translated it anyway. Okay. So I took the Danish book and I wrote a story based on what I thought was happening, yeah, and I kept all the words I recognized, like Paris or a year or a name, yeah, and left those in the same place, but then wrote a totally new story.
So how close to the original story did you get?
Not at all. Teddy's lead character is my supporting character, his supporting character is my villain. It's like it's this big weird amalgam, but you're going to get both versions.
Oh, cool.
So it's a flip book where mine is on one side and his is on the other, and you get to read them both.
And it's a full hardcover kind of...
Hardcover, yeah, and some stuff in the middle explaining how the process went and why it turned out the way it did.
That's such a cool kind of like experiment or kind of exercise in terms of storytelling.
Yeah, Teddy and I did a book called House of Secrets where every issue was a different form of writing, so this was like a natural extension for us to do, but it's really fun. Like we have the same theme kind of, and they're both about fakes and forgeries in a way, okay, but totally different, night and day.
And so you worked Teddy on House of Secrets doing this, but you have another project with them coming up?
I do. We started a book right after It's a Bird called Genius for First Second, and it's just taken a long time to get through, but it is now done. Yeah. And I'm not sure when First Second will schedule that book, but it's about a physicist who finds a lost Einstein theory, yeah, and it's weighty. It would change everything we know about the Earth, and he has to decide whether he goes public with that or not.
Very cool, very cool.
You know, it's like capes and hitting and the usual.
Awesome. Well, speaking of capes, you have a new superhero book coming out too?
I do. Also from Image is a book called Imperial with a great guy named Mark Dos Santos, and it's a superhero buddy book about a guy who's about to get married when the only superhero on Earth says, you're the next Imperial, like cool, 7 days before his wedding. So
good timing, right?
He's a superhero with commitment issues. Yeah. You know, which way do you go?
And is that going to be an ongoing? Or?
No, ongoings and Steve Seagle do not mix, so everything I'm doing finishes by my own hands. Cool. So yeah, it's 120 pages.
Okay, so it's a graphic novel then, right?
I don't know. The dream joy of Image is it might be separate issues, it might be a book, I don't know yet. I'm just getting it done and then we'll decide.
That's a good approach. And so when doing that though, you're just writing the story and you guys are working on it, and then if you go the issue route, do you have to worry about finding where the chapters end, or
You know, it is a superhero book, so I've given it that pulse where there is stuff that happens every 20 or 30 pages that are break points, but I don't know if that's the way I want to put it out.
Right. Cool. All right. Well, so any idea when that's going to come out, or
again, it has to be done. Yeah. So Mark is on page like 86 of 120. Okay. We're moving at a good clip, so I think maybe later in the year.
Oh, excellent. Very cool. So keep an eye out for that.
Yes.
And you've got you're continuing to dabble in the all ages marketplace, right?
Yeah. Well, since we do Ben 10 and Generator Rex, and we're doing the new Ultimate Spider-Man cartoon on Disney XD starting April 1st, we've also been keeping our kids' books going. So I did a book called Frankenstein, and I'm doing a sequel, not really related, but same vein with the same artist, called BATULA, which is about what happens when a fruit bat gets bit by a vampire. He turns into a vampire bat.
Nice.
Very cool. Avenging creature of the orchard night.
With the same artist? Or?
Same artist, a guy who's a storyboard artist, and he worked on SpongeBob, and he's doing a top secret project with the guys who do Family Guy. So Good stuff.
Awesome. And I wanted to ask you about Ultimate Spider-Man. That hearing the writers that are involved in that, between you and your fellow Men of Action and Paul Dini and Bendis, what has that experience been like? Has it been that's a lot of comic book dudes in one room?
It is, and Jeff Loeb spearheading the whole thing, and Joe Quesada's in all those meetings. So it's been a lot of fun. That's not normally my wheelhouse, but I've had a blast. And the show is really inventive. It's not the Spider-Man you're used to, but it's everything you love about Peter Parker in that world. But it takes place in kind of high school with a SHIELD emphasis and a supporting team of heroes. I think people are going to be very surprised, but it's super funny, breaks a lot of rules of animation, storytelling, and Spider-Man. It's going to be a good time.
And how rewarding, I mean, like, working in cartoons and children's book in all ages, I mean, that's like the next generation comic reader almost.
Oh my God, the most fun of conventions, I used to hate conventions, and now it's like a lot of people who come up are these kids who are like, you're like, do you like Ben 10? They're like, no, or whatever. It's awesome because kids are just like this unfiltered bundle of energy. So it's revitalized me, and actually the older fans are great too. So having a good time. Cool.
Well, we got a lot of stuff to look forward to. And
hopefully, yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you, and love to Joe Casey wherever he is.
Yeah, exactly. If Joe Casey ever reemerges someday out of hiding. I'm here with Brian K. Vaughan and Fiona Staples. How you guys doing?
Well, I've been better, but doing all right.
You're rocking a new look, Brian.
Yeah, that's right. It's my Nick Fury ode to him. I had a little eye problem, but yeah, Mike Malvey was nice enough to go get me an eye patch. So that's really retailers taking care of creators. So.
Exactly.
Thank you.
Well, it's thank you for pushing through. And
my pleasure. Thank you for having us.
So we're on the eve of Saga going out to the world so far. How's the feedback been at the show? People excited? I mean, a lot of people are talking about it.
Yeah, it's awesome. No, it blew one of my eyeballs right out of my brain. I've been so people really seem excited, and I think people are hungry for something new, and just really excited about doing an original, ongoing series. You know, this is not a mini series. This is old school comics, and people seem pumped for it. So yeah, we're very lucky.
Very cool. So now I've read the issue. I've had the benefit to read it, so I can ask some specific questions without spoiling anything. But I thought it was really interesting in that, in terms of it being sci-fi, you're creating really a new world. Like, I thought it was interesting about how much visually was new to it in terms of creation, stuff like that. What was the approach collaboratively in terms of the look of the book?
Well, initially we did a lot of back and forth with character designs, creatures, and environments. And once we sort of set down a few basic environments and character designs, I just sort of elaborated on those same concepts and just stuck with that style to develop the look of the world that we have.
Very cool.
It's for me just giving Fiona a ton of freedom. You know, I think just saying, here's sort of the basic parameters, but I just love her imagination and her style. So I think it's just giving her plenty of rope. Yeah.
So in terms of the look of some of the characters, I know there are cues to our world. So was that a way to bring the reader in, or how as a world builder, why do that?
Yeah, I guess I like sort of that balance of the far out and the mundane, and having something that seems so beyond possibility, and then also people talking about downloading apps to their phone. You know, I think it is that it lets us sort of connect with this far out world. I don't know if you agree.
Yeah, definitely. I think it adds a bit of lightness to the story. There's definitely a lot of humor in it, and even though it's completely fantastical and out there, I think it's very relatable and very human.
Yeah. Well, the characters with the TVs on their head, I won't reveal who they are or what they are, but like, where did that come from? Is that?
I guess just my damaged psyche. I don't know. I'm just trying to reach deep into myself, and I guess, naked robots with TVs for heads came out. So I don't know what that says about me, but there you go.
Well, so I've heard the book get described so far. It seems like the quick description has been like Romeo and Juliet meets Star Wars kind of thing. Do you feel like that's accurate, or and the romance angle?
You know, I guess it somewhat describes it, but it's hard because, you know, Why the Last Man was a really easy pitch. What if it was one guy? I really wanted to do a book that wasn't necessarily that quick, high concept. It wasn't something that wanted to be a movie. This is a book about a lot of things. So it's been hard to sort of, it's a harder book to sell because you can't sort of give that elevator pitch, but I just hope, I think in the first issue, you get 44 pages, and you're either in or out. So, I hope people will roll the dice on it and just go with the experience. But
awesome. And so now, visually with the lettering, I thought that was really interesting that you chose to hand letter some parts of it.
Yeah, it was Brian's idea to have hand-lettered narration throughout. It's actually narrated by
Yeah, their baby.
Yeah.
Yes, the grown-up version of their baby.
Who we've seen having lunch on the cover, the controversial lunch.
That's correct.
So that gives you a little bit of insight into the future and what it has in store for the family, while at the same time not really telling you anything.
Yeah, it's true.
And it's probably born out of, I have 2 kids now, so I read an endless amount of children's books, and I really like the way that text interacts with images. Yeah. And so I really wanted to try something different with this narration, and letting Fiona do the lettering herself, it feels so organic. It's really cool.
Cool, very good. And so now, like I mentioned, the cover got a lot of attention. How did you feel about that kind of attention? I
don't know, what do you think? You painted it.
I felt pretty good about it. Yeah. I don't know. I felt like it didn't really have much to do with me, or even with the cover. Actually, people just have a lot of opinions about breastfeeding that they're waiting to tell the world.
Hey, they always say, any publicity is good publicity, right?
That is right. I felt bad for Dave Dorman. Sounds like he may have overreacted to something that he thought was being marketed to kids, and I'm an overprotective dad, so I know the score. It sort of became an unnecessary tempest, it felt like, but it did happen at just the right time when our pre-orders were coming in. So I'm just shameful enough to say, anything that helps the book is good.
So, do you have any indication on how the book's doing? I mean, did it find its audience, you think?
It's too early to say. The retailers have been terrific. They have supported us a lot. So we have to wait though and see. Those numbers don't matter to me. It's how many people are going to come back for issue 2 and issue 3 and stick with this journey. But for right now, it's looking awesome. So yeah, we are very grateful.
Awesome. And so, like you said, this is an ongoing thing. So this is the foreseeable future every month?
Till we drop, or till you get sick of us, we hope.
And how's the monthly grind going for you?
It's good. I've cleared my schedule. This is my only project. So.
Cool.
Yeah. So, yeah, I'm ready to just dive into the monthly schedule.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, I love the first issue. I can't wait for more. So thank you so much. Thank you guys so much. And
I can't tell you how surreal it has been to do an interview wearing an eye patch. I feel absurd. Yeah, right. I have no depth perception. I don't know where the microphone is.